Hi everybody, Lydia here with Build Show Network, and today we're going to talk about Strait-Flex. So these spots back here are off angles is what we call them, and as you can tell they're not a 90 degree, they are off of 90 degrees. So these need a special product that go in there. Don't use paper tape in these, it's not going to work. It tends to kind of fit into those crevices in there, and then it'll be really deep and you'll have a really hard time keeping it straight. So this product is going to get off-angle product, and then this product, and then this one also is going to get an off-angle product. So this is an outside off-angle, and that's an inside off-angle. So when we're looking at products, there's a couple different options. I have two with me here today. I have the Strait-Flex Wide Flex, and then I have the Strait-Flex Original. So if you've been drywalling for a long time, Strait-Flex Original has been out forever. I remember using it when I first started back in 2002. It is a paper product. It has a flocked paper on the back, and then you have your front here. There are inch markings, and then there are guidelines for cutting. They come in a box like this, so you can just go ahead and pull out like this if you want to. I usually take them out of the box because it's just easier for me to work with it that way, but kind of personal preference. But these go in here. So what you would do is you would fold this to your desired angle, put mud on the drywall, and then you would place this product in here, and then you would make sure it all lines down and is flat. So Strait-Flex Original and then the Strait-Flex Wide Flex both have the same install process. It's mud, and then you install the product. This guy, as you can tell, is quite a bit thicker. It's kind of got that tape edge, has a little bit more rigidity in the center there. It has a thicker product, and then it kind of has this middle part that's flexible, makes it a little bit easier to fold. Again, same thing with this guy, goes right in there. And as you can tell, the products are pretty different. One's quite a bit wider than the other one. So when you're looking at choosing which product to use, if you have something that is really not straight, big gaps, framing issues, you're really gonna wanna go with the Wide Flex. This guy really is for things that are framed well and hung well that need, not as much forgiveness. The Wide Flex really is what you want to do if you have big peaks that you need to keep straight, or you need some more strength going on. I am going to be installing the Wide Flex on this just because we got a fireplace right there, focal point, and then this will probably be getting tile, so I want to try and make sure I have this as straight as possible for the tile guys. All of these products can also then be flipped this way. So they can go this way or that way, obviously whatever degree angle you have. But then these will go on the outside like this. So same thing again, you're gonna have your mud and then you're gonna have your product on top. I like using the wider ones for outsides just because of the strength. If somebody bumps it or hits it, it's gonna have a little more oomph to it. But you can also use this guy also on the outside. So I'll just go on there just like that. And then what's nice too about these products is I'm sure you guys can tell there are lines down the center. So it does help if you're using lasers or if you're kind of eyeballing, you can definitely tell if your line is straight or not because you kind of have that center line that you can follow down. This one also too has the gridding and the marks. Makes for easy cutting. And then you can also just kind of measure off or count off. So if you have 9 feet, it makes it really easy to go ahead and get everything out of the box. The Wide Flex also is set up to feed out of the box, and then you can have a tape measure right there too, so you can have your tape measure and then just kind of, mark off your flex. Let's go ahead and install this. I'm gonna be using the Mud Pro system because it can do both. It can do corner bead and it can do Strait-Flex. So we'll go ahead and run some of that through, make it fast and simple and easy, and we'll go ahead and put that Wide Flex into that inside off angle. Important thing, you need to have like snips or like metal shears. These are just with red handle, doesn't matter what color handle, whatever you're comfortable with. But you can't just cut these with like a pair of scissors. It's too thick, it won't go through it. So you do need to have something that's got some beef. And then I'm just gonna be doing 9 foot, so I'm just gonna go ahead and count through and count off 9 feet. Something that's important before you start applying this is give it a little bit of a dry fit. Like the last thing you want to do is throw it up and have it be like super short or super long. So obviously that's perfect. I might actually just cut it back just a touch down there but I want to make sure it's going to go ahead and fit before I get everything all ready to go. The last thing you want is going and you're like, oh no, that's too short or too long. Another cool thing about this is if you are doing big cathedral ceilings, what I typically do is I will cut out all of my ceilings, take it and roll it, and then you can have everything set up, get up on your scaffolding or your stilts or whatever it is that you're using, and then you can just know where they are and they're pre-cut, and then you just roll them out, and then you just pre-fold them like that, and then they're ready to go. All right, so we're gonna use our Mud Pro system again. So this top part right here, that is for straight flex. So my product all folded, and I'm just gonna run it through here. You know, being it's a little bit floppier, you kind of have to like, there we go. Okay. So, there we go. Okay. Okay, so I have this all up. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure it's in there straight. You can take your knife and you can kind of push it around, move it around. You can come up and you can check and make sure that it's really nice and tight to the wall. Sometimes if this is off, so like say I had my line over here, it's gonna look like that. So it's a pretty good indicator that you have your line off wrong if you can kind of take your knife in there and check. So as you can tell, super flat this side, super flat that side. So you just wanna go ahead and work through the whole corner. Make sure it's straight. Make sure it's all nice and straight. Going down, give it a little push too, so I can make sure it's not moving. You can kind of take a look back, give it an eyeball. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start installing this. So I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna go ahead and apply pressure. I'm gonna remove the excess mud. So as you can see here, I'm just using the edge of my knife. Keep this line as clean as possible. I don't want to be packing a bunch of mud in the center there. If there's not enough mud, so like say I want some more mud there, you can always go through, pack some mud in there. So as you can tell here, I'm trying to get this lying down as flat as possible. Like if I'm not pushing hard enough, what'll happen is you'll get like a bulge here. So say I just like went like that, that's not gonna be like flat in here. I really want this product to be super flat and tight to the wall because it's gonna make it sure it's straight and that it looks good. And another thing that I do is I work one side and then I work the other. Because what can happen is if you start installing this and you're only wiping down one side, it can actually move and twist on you a little bit. This is installed after we have our tape on. You can do either or. We tend to install after because in that way we're not doing anything. We're not trying to like tape over this and get into this area. So it just kind of goes over the tape. Now, and we're coating this. Again, we want to let it dry, but I will kind of go over how to coat this really quick. So because this product is so flat, we want to make sure we're not going to be overfilling this. So it's really, really, really flat. If it's installed correctly, it should look really nice. As you can tell, not a lot of coating going on here. Another thing that's important to notice is the knife is really flat in the center. I'm not actually going to be getting into this area at all. The only thing I'm going to be coating is this tape edge right here because that's all I need. So I'm actually only going to be coating about that far in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to load up my knife. I'm actually just going to stripe. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to stripe that edge. I'm going to angle my knife like this. And that's it. That's all I'm going to be coating. I'm not leaving on an excessive amount of mud. I'm staying out of the center. So depending on how you're finishing, this can take 2 to 3 coats. The Wide Flex is really nice. It lies down super well. Some of the other products, the Strait-Flex, because it's not as thick and it doesn't have that paper edge, sometimes you need to let it sit for like a minute and then come wipe it because it can kind of get soft from the mud and it makes it a little bit easier to wipe. But that's pretty much how we install Strait-Flex and where we want to coat. Pretty simple process. Obviously you can laser it if you want to. I think most of us that have been in the business for a long time have a pretty good eye with if things are straight or not, especially with that center line. But that's it. That's how we do it. And the Mud Pro works out really well. We haven't installed a ton of it with it, so we don't really have our system down yet. But I think you could probably have an empty mud box and just kind of coil it up in there instead of letting it hit the floor like I did, because I made it all trashy. But you know, we're still refining that process down on our end with how we want to do that. But that's it for me this week. I hope that helps. Pick up some Strait-Flex, give it a go on your next project. And you can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Okay, so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Anyway, check you guys next week.